If you're underconfident or think you just can't study, this video is right for you because I would be sharing some simple yet effective study tips that genuinely work. Because trust me, I've been there. From being terrified of maths in class 6 to scoring 100 in class 10th boards, not bragging, but what I want to suggest is that in this video you can find a more practical approach and motivation to study better and score better marks. So keep on watching. Hi everyone, I hope you all are doing good. My name is Bhavika and in this video I'll be sharing 12 effective study tips that will actually help you ace your exams. These are the tips and strategies that I've been following in my school life and also in college. Moreover, stay around because by the end of this video I would also be sharing a quick class 12th boards preparation strategy for commerce subjects since so many of you have been asking for it. So starting off with the first tip, skim your syllabus, know your battlefield. What I mean by that is basically being aware of what all topics you actually have to do to make sure that you're not skipping out on any topic. I know it sounds quite basic, but it is actually very essential. Because some people try to jot down their own syllabus in like a proper notebook, but what I would do is I would open the index of my books and I would mark all the chapters because like of course when we talk of boards we have to give like the whole syllabus, but how it actually helps me is because I specially highlight those chapters and those topics which I find especially difficult. So because this will help me invest in extra time and energy towards the topics that actually require it. Tip number 2, aim for 100 not 90. I never said to myself while studying कि यार बस 90% आ जाए. The goal is always 100% and mindset matters. Don't study hard to score higher than your friends or to be the topper in your class or of your school. Study hard to be the best, study to get 100% because if you aim for the perfect score, you'll actually end up extracting your potential to get out there towards the best version of yourself. Tip number 3, find an incentive for yourself to study. What I mean by that is set up short-term incentives as well as long-term incentives. For example, your goal is to complete a chapter in one day. And once you actually do it, make a promise to yourself that you would actually give yourself around an hour of playing video games or doing whatever activity you would want to do. So acting like a reward if you complete your task. And when I talk about long-term incentives, you can just for an example, don't take it as a pressurizing statement, but these marks would stay on your CV, on your resume. These could actually help you land your dream college. These would help you land your dream job or whatever you want to do. So set up the incentive that motivates you to study because incentives and rewards are a well-known system to help you motivate to complete your task. Tip number 4, make functional timetables, not rigid ones. What I mean by that is, usually people set up unrealistic timetables, like, hum ye kar lenge, wo kar lenge, but they're not really realistic. Of course, you should plan, you should schedule what you want to study across the month, how much syllabus you want to cover, which subject you want to focus more. Let's say mostly people prefer practicing maths regularly. So whatever it be for you, do make a schedule, do make a monthly schedule and also a weekly schedule, but make sure that it is flexible enough. It should not restrict you. It should not be rigid or unrealistic that you end up getting overwhelmed. Instead of letting it help you, it just absorbs out unnecessary energy from you. Tip number 5, it is related to the previous tip and that is to make daily to-do lists. Making a whole weekly and monthly plan is one different thing and making daily to-do lists is still important. That is because, see, firstly, there are chances that you might deviate from your plan here and there because, there are school assignments, there are school projects that actually might not allow you to, complete your monthly and weekly goals every time. But that is absolutely fine. That is where daily to-do lists help because you can alter those plans on a daily basis that, okay, if I can't complete, let's say 3 chapters today, I'll try to do at least 1 chapter and accordingly you can alter the plan for some other day in the coming week. So daily to-do lists are of course important for that, and an additional reason is that in my opinion when you put a tick across your task at the end of the day, it just feels so satisfying. Tip number 6, revisions are very important. If you just keep on covering syllabus एक के बाद एक chapter, that's good. Of course, you are skimming through your syllabus, you're completing your syllabus at least once. However, there is a very natural tendency, especially for theoretical subjects, that you might forget some points or you might forget some concept in a while. So revising things, especially like within a gap of 1 week, would really help, and it would also increase the retention of your concepts and would help you, when you're writing an answer, it would obviously help you recall better. Tip number 7, mistakes are teachers. When you make mistakes while practicing, it is actually good because it helps you understand that you have to avoid these silly errors or mistakes when you're actually writing your exam. And this has actually happened to me several times, that when I'm, let's say, practicing a topic, I realize later on that my answer is wrong because I made this particular error, and the next time I have to answer that question in practice or in an actual exam also, it would always click my mind that acha I made this error and I don't have to make that error again, ensuring I score even better and I don't end up making the mistakes. So, how you can get better at this is that once you're done with your primary books, do start practicing with the reference books. And one of my recommendations would be Oswald books. They've been in the market for a while and the resources are actually quite reliable because they are thoroughly prepared using previous year patterns and sample papers, and just a good mix of experienced resources. Also, they offer their subjects for CBSE, also CUET specific and even JEE specific. So they have something for everyone. So make sure you're practicing from these reference books because that will help you practice more, that will expose you to more questions, and you would better understand, what all you can study more, what all mistakes you have to avoid, and just help you revise better and more. Tip number 8, notes are your secret weapon. Please make your own notes. Not the topper's notes, not borrowed ones. Make your own notes. Make them personalized. Make them more focused on the topics that you find difficult. Your notes are meant to be such that you can, learn better from it, revise better from it. They help you understand and learn concepts in an easier way. Make mnemonics. They help so much. Make your own creative mnemonic. And I think notes plus writing are quite known to, improve your memory and just increase the retention power of your concepts. So please make your own notes and make them in a way that you understand it. Tip number 9, develop hacks that help you study. So what worked for me, and I've actually heard that a lot of basically students practice this, is that I would study by reading the concepts and explaining them aloud as if I'm explaining to an imaginary class. But this really did work for me, and I would do this even when I was in 6th standard. I would just grab my board and a piece of chalk and I would start writing on it as if I'm a teacher and I'm explaining to a class, and eventually I would just cover up all my syllabus while explaining everything to myself. So it just made studying very interesting for me. And while this worked for me, and as I said, a lot of people actually find this helpful as if they're explaining the concepts aloud in a classroom. So you can try this or maybe develop a study hack that works for you. So yeah. Tip number 10, scrolling is not relaxing. Sometimes when you have a good 2-hour or 3-hour long study session and you feel like for a break, you just grab your phone and you start scrolling on social media. Please don't do it. It's a sheer waste of time. Of course, take breaks, relax yourself, but find better ways of doing it. Maybe go out for a walk, chill with your friends and family, talk to a friend you haven't talked to in a while, make some cozy food and watch it with an episode of your favorite show. But please don't waste your time on scrolling, because often what happens is you think of scrolling just for about 30 minutes, but you end up just scrolling more and more, and that helps you waste your time only. So actually it does not help you in any way. Of course you can, surf through social media, but prefer to do it by the end of the day or once you have completed all your goals for a limited time, let's say for about 30 minutes or an hour. And in case you find the app to be a distraction, post that, maybe uninstall it, because you don't want it to be a distraction. It's fine to be used for sometimes for some relaxation, but don't choose it as your way of taking breaks in between your study sessions. Tip number 11, have light days. Sometimes studying really intensively on a daily basis for months and months can actually make you really exhausted and make you feel very tired, and you might just end up getting overwhelmed and won't feel like studying at all. So for avoiding that and for avoiding any such situation, it would be better if you actually have some light days, basically days when you don't just completely stop studying, but maybe have a light day and end up just studying a topic that you find easy, or maybe giving it a good revision or trying it from a different book, or just reduce the load for some particular days, because consistency over intensity, it will help you. You would still be contributing towards your goal, you would still be preparing, but having some chill time with your friends and family is doing you no bad. Please, have light days. And that brings me to tip number 12. Please don't stress yourself. Of course, पढ़ना है, पूरी dedication के साथ पढ़ना है, but that does not mean you end up burdenizing yourself, you end up taking too much stress. Of course, you should outdo yourself, you should study with full dedication, with 110% dedication. But that does not mean that you have to just pressurize yourself and just overburden that yaar ye to karna hi padega, because that is not a sustainable way of building a good system for studying. Just give your best, just study with full dedication, so that later you have no regrets that yes, I did give my best, I studied with the full 110% dedication in fact, and I gave my best. Don't pressurize yourself. Exams are a part of life, and of course all you can do is prepare well for them, prepare for in the best way that you can. So these were the 12 very simple study tips that I inculcated in my study routines and I wanted to share with you. Now moving towards the class 12th board strategy, which so many of you guys have been asking me for, and this is especially focused on commerce domain. So let's get started. So starting off with a subject that you've been asking me a lot, that is accountancy. Look, I'll be sharing my personal strategy, how I tried to do it. So for accountancy, I referred to T.S. Grewal, which was the book that was actually taught to us in our school as well. So I refer to T.S. Grewal, and in my first read, I would go through each and every question, each and every illustration, and make sure that I've marked every question that I find tough or that has like a unique point, so that the next time I revise through the same chapter, I would not have to spend time on like the very basic questions. So basically just saving my time and energy and putting it where it is required more. Similarly, I would practice specific chapters more. Like let's say I remember I found volume 2 a little bit more tedious for myself, so I would actually invest in more time studying that first, so that I can sort of get rid of the burden that yaar mujhe wo book bhi karni hai, ye chapter mujhe itna easy nahi lagta, I have to do that as well. So I would focus on it more because I would have more time to focus on it. I would be able to try to bring in hacks that would make it easier for me. Plus of course I supplemented such topics with YouTubers as well, and I've also already shared the resources in my previous videos, so in case you're interested, please do watch them. Other than that, for boards, I did not really refer NCERT for accountancy. I would do T.S. Grewal बहुत अच्छे से, and I would do selective questions of D.K. Goyal, which were provided to me by my teacher. I did not purchase D.K. Goyal book, is what I mean to say. But yeah, selective questions. Other than that, practice as many question banks you can, get yourself reference books like from Oswald books. Another important point is that sample papers and previous year papers are really important. They are like must. Please do it, please don't ignore them, because the paper pattern is more or less similar, even if there are changes introduced. Some questions are observed that do tend to repeat themselves years and years. So make sure you're checking out previous year papers, and if you see a pattern that there is this particular topic that is being asked very frequently, make sure that you're practicing it well. So for accountancy, practice is the key. Make your concepts clear. Also, my class teacher would give us random assignments. I would try to solve them on my own, because that would help me build my concepts at a gradual pace, and it won't burdenize myself when boards were really close, or when I just had to give boards. Alright, so now talking about business studies. So for business studies, I personally refer to NCERT only, and I refer to it thoroughly, giving it multiple readings. I've heard some of you guys referring to Poonam Day as well. As far as I know, it's a great book as well. You can go ahead with that too. But one thing that my teacher used to say was that for business studies, it is really important that you write the headings as it is, as they're given in NCERT. Because these teachers have answer keys, and sometimes those headings are as it is mentioned. So if you just mention that over there, it just gives a good impression to the teacher, and it makes the job easier for them to check it. Other than that, you can of course write the reasoning and the logic based on your understanding. So that is one tip. To talk about economics, there is macroeconomics and Indian economic development. So for Indian economic development, I personally refer to this book by Subhash Day, and also would refer to NCERT sometimes. The struggle for me in that subject was that there are so many statistics. How do I remember each and every one? So our teacher never asked us to remember all of them. Just make sure to have a little bit of a knowledge of these statistics, because mentioning them would create a good emphasis and a good impression on the paper checker that yeah, this person is aware and that this person has actually studied from the books. So yeah, it just makes the job easier for them again. So that would be one tip. Other than that, again, it's a theoretical subject, and I'm not a big fan of theoretical subjects. I don't like it, but somehow I did like that subject because it helped me, I basically tried to make an understanding with this subject in my real life. Like if there was a chapter on employment, I would try to relate it with the different types of employment I see, and adjoining statistics to that basically just help me recall them better. For macroeconomics, a lot of emphasis is put on graphs, and rightly so. Really do understand the graphs, the logic behind everything, focus a lot on the concepts and also labeling of the graphs. When you're writing answer for boards, make sure that you can draw graphs wherever possible considering the time that you have available. So yeah, for macroeconomics, really focus on the concepts because logical and application based questions can come. Other than that, of course, the same tip applies here, that do practice your previous year questions, do check previous year papers and sample papers as well. So now talking for mathematics. Honestly, for mathematics, the key is practice. Like, just practice. As I told, I was not very good at it. Like, even in like class 10th, pre-boards, I was not scoring even 85%. But then in boards, I scored 100%. Why? Because I made sure I'm practicing. And I'm practicing more on the concepts that I find hard. Like, if I'm struggling with a particular chapter, I would try to practice it until and unless I can, get better at it. So practice is the key. For mathematics, I refer to NCERT. I would do selective questions from R.S. Agarwal, some questions from R.D. Sharma, which were like provided to me by my tutors. And also mathematics was the only subject in which I opted for tuition in class 12th. So make sure you do NCERT, you do exemplar, you do selective questions from such reference books as well. And other than that, of course, for mathematics, at least 15 previous year papers, I would say, because even if the format changes here and there, the questions tend to repeat themselves over and over. So practice. And another thing, in mathematics, time management is very important. One thing that I would do is I would start from the last section. I would do section D first, then section C, then section B, and then section A. Especially in mathematics, I did this in some other subjects as well, as and when I felt like the need to, because in case I just run short on time, I wouldn't have to mess up with the long answer. So for English, one tip that I have is that if you make sure that you're reading through the chapters multiple times, because it is a creative subject and it is open to interpretation. With every reading, you will have like a better understanding, and you would understand each and every character even more, and help in you understand the character development in each stories and literature. So one thing that really helps is quoting the lines as it is from the books. So like we had NCERT, right? So if I mention like let's say a particular dialogue in my answer, it really impresses the paper checker. So that is one tip. Other than that, English is a very creative subject and is open to your interpretation. So just be as creative as you can in your writing, in your reading part, and in your literature as well. So with that, we have come towards the end of this video. I hope you guys liked it and that you do integrate these study tips and these actually help you slay and ace your exams. Don't forget to like this video, comment below if you have any questions or any video requests. I would love to make videos that you guys want, and subscribe to my channel for fun content. See you in my next video. Bye.